This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Welcome to the second hour of our program. On the line with us is Heidi Cuda, the author and Emmy Award-winning investigative reporter, co-host of the Radicalized Truth Survives podcast. You can subscribe to her Substack, by the way, at Betty Dangerous, B-E-T-T-E, dangerous.com. And on Twitter, it's Heidi Cuda, HEIDI_CUDA. Heidi, first off, thank you for having me on your podcast a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, I don't recall. Tell people, where they can find it if my instructions were less than complete.
No, you were great, Tom. BettyDangerous.com, Betty Dangerous on Substack. And because of this invitation, I left the half off special another day. So shameless plug. But I just want people to know in your audience that you're probably the only person who could get a comped membership for life, who then decided to support me by buying a subscription. So you're a real one, Tom, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Heidi. Your most recent, one of your more recent articles, correct me if I'm wrong on, but I think it's the last day or so. In case you missed it, 2016 election investigation, Digital Guerrilla, the curious case of Douglas Mackey, Russian propaganda super spreader. You're doing a deep dive into the 2016 election. Most people have completely forgotten this. Robert Mueller kind of outed what Trump was up to and what Putin was up to. Tell us what you've learned.
Well, I've learned that we cannot turn our back on the past for America to be whole. We have to know what happened in 2016. And as I wrote in the article, I probably would have been satisfied with a 7-month sentence on somebody who is basically being convicted for encouraging people of color to vote from home and vote by text. And that is election interference. And I probably would have said, okay, at least something. But when you have Donald Trump Jr., J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones's InfoWars, when you have this group of people trying to just write him off as just some meme guy, how terrible this poor meme guy, what a terrible deal he got for just putting out anti-Hillary memes. I thought, why are they engaging in what can only be kind of what felt to me like more of a cover-up?
Who's the meme guy we're talking about here?
Douglas Mackey is the meme guy, okay. M-E-M-E. And so,
meme, okay.
Meme guy.
Got it.
And so what I did was I started to go back to Twitter 2016, and I describe it like a wreckage site. As you're spelunking around Twitter 2016, you're around suspended accounts, you're around deleted posts, but there is enough kind of forensics left to sort of piece together the carcass. And this was not just anti-Hillary memes. This was an attack on our election. It was election interference. We're talking about, I believe, a part of a larger criminal conspiracy where you have somebody, this Mackey person, was a prolific tweeter of Russian propaganda coming straight out of the GRU. So when you have these people who have a lot at stake to dial down and minimize what was actually happening, I had to go back and reevaluate it. And I believe that this is part of a much larger group of people that worked to alter the election outcome of 2016.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the article. I believe it was in the Financial Times in the last day or two or three about how Putin got what he wanted out of Italy. It's absolutely fascinating, the efforts, the lengths to which the Russian government, the GRU, their intelligence service, their CIA, and these troll farms out of Russia have been involving themselves in the internal politics of Western nations now for
absolutely,
apparently for decades, but in a really aggressive way over basically the last decade. And here in the United States, it went on steroids in 2016. I would argue that without the help of Putin's troll farms, Donald Trump couldn't even have won the Electoral College vote. I mean, we know he lost the election by 3 million votes in 2016. But this whole idea that they can spin an election from Russia. I don't think most Americans, give that much thought at all. And yet it certainly appears to be a reality to me. What say you?
Yes, it does. I'm so glad to hear you saying that, because we are still a target nation of an invisible war. And I am very close with somebody who left MAGA, which he described as a cult. And he said that the reason that the Russian interference does not penetrate the MAGA mind is because they are already pre-scripted with their responses. And the response to Russian interference is, oh, every politician gets help from foreign countries, so that doesn't mean anything. No, it does mean something. And I am also revisiting the Mueller indictments of the troll operation and the Russian military officers who were part of this operation. And what does what is Russia's main export at this point, aside from what comes from the ground? Lies. They have lie factories, and we have what I feel are U.S. traitors who are actually promoting those lies. And it's very important to note that the person I focused on, who was convicted in this particular report, Douglas Mackey, he was artificially inflated. So he went from being somebody who was fired from his job in the summer of 2016 to having an account and accounts more influential than NBC, more influential than the Drudge Report, more influential than Newt Gingrich. That does not happen organically. And in the court documents, they said, one of the informants said that they artificially inflated people like his influence by using botnets. And some of those botnets, of course, located in Russia and in other countries. So you could pay $300 a month to become so influential on Twitter that you could actually alter the outcome of the election. And I can tell you, Tom, I had worked in broadcast news, and people in 2015 were still, politically engaged. You had people on different sides of the spectrum. And you have to remember, who did America vote as the most popular politician in 2013? Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was Americans' favorite politician in 2013, more popular than Obama, Biden, Mitt Romney, John McCain, you name it, right? Mm-hmm. By 2016, American minds had been so hacked by these quote unquote influencers that they literally, people who were normal in 2015 suddenly thought she was the devil. That did not happen organically. It happened because of these influence operations. And it is very important to note that Douglas Mackey was not the only prolific spreader of accounts coming out of the GRU, the state-operated troll farm. Right. Prigozhin, obviously, we know, was a member of Russian intelligence. This was not some little side hustle of Prigozhin's. He was the person operating the. Yeah, I hate calling it a troll farm, Tom, because it makes it look cute. It minimizes the impacts.
Right. It's an election influence operation. No, I'm with you. Now, I understand that Paul Manafort, when he was running Trump's campaign, was passing along internal top secret polling data to the GRU, to the Russian intelligence services. And they were using those to hyper-target individual American voters in swing states via Facebook. Have you corroborated that?
Well, yes, of course. And that is all in the Mueller report, which only less than 3% of the population read. I invite people to go back and read it. Barr actually, buried it, but it's so much of this is all there. Manafort owed millions of dollars to Oleg Deripaska, one of Putin's core oligarchs. And to get whole, in his own words, he was going to turn over this polling data. This is not an innocent thing. And ultimately, I always zoom out to try to understand the bigger picture. What was Trump to Putin? Trump to Putin was just another Yanukovych, right? Mm-hmm. So another person who would do his bidding. And for those who don't know, Manafort was also his handler. And what happened to him? He had to flee his country during a revolution, go back to Moscow, And, with the billions of dollars that he stole, and then later the people of Ukraine convicted him of treason. Yep. And to think about that, like the same handler of this particular Russian puppet in Ukraine is also the same, handler of effectively another Russian asset in Trump in America.
There you go.
And the information warfare has denied the majority of the population that truth. Yeah. They still don't see it.
I totally get it. Heidi, by the way, we just have a minute and a half here until we're going to hit a hard break that I can't control. I'm to bring this from the 2016 to this particular moment in time, we're seeing now Republican politicians saying that they're not going to support Ukraine any longer. This appears to me to be the consequence of a brand new Russian influence campaign here in the United States via social media. What say you?
Oh, absolutely. We have an entire party that's been captured, and all we have to do whenever we see these events and these narratives is ask who benefits. If it's Vladimir Putin, you can work your way back. And it is very sad to me to think that, again, we have somebody like Mike Johnson 2 heartbeats away from the presidency. So we have been under attack. I would say, certainly since 2016, the narratives were put in place back in 2014, and the attacks are ongoing. All you have to do is look at 2020. All you have to do is look at those radicalized by QAnon and what is promoted on Russian TV. When you have somebody like Alex Jones of InfoWars going on a Russian propaganda show for 45 minutes to give all of Putin's talking points, I think that you can see that the infection is very deep.
Yeah, it is absolutely nuts. And here we are now. We've got American politicians literally quoting Putin word for word, and it's crazy. BettyDangerous.com, BETTE Dangerous.com is the website. Heidi_Cuda, CUDA, on Twitter. Or X or whatever you want to call it. Heidi, thanks so much for dropping by. Great talking.
Oh, thank you, Tom.